1,000 students per year.
That's amazing. So how did you get involved?
Well, the way I really got involved was when I was young. I was invited to the last two President Clinton's birthday parties. And as I live in D.C., it's 92% Democrat, so I was already a Democrat born, because if you think a Republican thought, you disappear. So, so basically, I got that, and it really was interesting to me. So then my political passion kind of died down. And then I went to my brother's college to visit him, and they don't tell you to boxing. They don't tell you to, dig up dirt on somebody. And I really love that about it, because that's also now the core value of my politics. My position is actually nonpartisan. So I'm not, even though I am a Democrat, my position is not a Democratic or Republican or independent position.
Right, it's just
a commission.
All right. So if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great. Now, can you please, in front of the camera, just tell us that, state your name, and just tell us that you give us permission to use your footage for our president campaign.
Commissioner Carter Wise, and I give organization. What's the name?
If I were president campaign.
If I was president campaign, to use my footage for any marketing or promo opportunities.
Amazing. So now I guess that leads to the question: if you were president, what would you do and why?
So, being from DC, the first thing I would do.
Just repeat the question.
Okay. If I was president, I would do, especially since I'm from DC, the first thing I would do is basically make sure DC gets a vote in Congress, full representation, because a lot of Americans really do want it. 51% of the majority went to pass the House and went to Senate, was filibustered by 6 Republicans, and they needed that to pass. And most of America wants it to pass. And I'm glad, fortunately, that we have a nominee who supports. He's been a big ally of that. We about 600,000 citizens in the District of Columbia. They pay the second highest taxes in the country, whereas the population is bigger than 3 other states in the Union. And then we fought in every war. And so I would just think that that's a great injustice that just still places here in America that still.
It was interesting, and the only reason I know this is because several people who went home at weekends from grad school and met people brought back the cake that is purple, because in the 50s in the United States at least, when somebody was pregnant, you could go into a baby shop and order something for a baby, and they would keep a pink and a blue one. And on the day of the birth, and the attempt of many school districts was to get the teachers not to think of boys and girls, but to think purple and overcome this barrier, particularly encouraging those to go into sciences. So we telling you a story just to relate the event today. Because much as we think of what we are, we sometimes make the same common mistakes, which is part of a larger story. Thanks a lot.
You're here for 5 days of coaching. See, unfortunately, that learning is not great yesterday.
They want the system is working. We're looking at what changes need to be done. I've got some things I can tell about the PGA.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Talk about association, how we're involved, obviously about things that we're saying needs to be changed.
Yes, that's great.
Hello, I'm Terrence George of Lincoln Park High School in Chicago, Illinois. Today I have the honor and the privilege of introducing to you a man whose humble beginnings in Farmington, West Virginia have taught him the true meaning of taught him the true value of hard work and dedication. A man who, as governor of West Virginia, has helped our veterans and improved the state's economic climate. Introducing to you none other than the governor of the great state of West Virginia, the Honorable Joe Manchin III.
Let me just say it's an honor and privilege to be here with you. I told Terrence, I think he has a true profession ahead of him. In the political world, when they're introducing and they're going to say, well, someone's going to give the scenario of the background, they always say, well, the voice of God. It's always the voice of God, because it's always that real outstanding voice that's doing the intros and the backgrounds. And I can tell you, just the first thing that struck me is that all the people, the intro, we kind of refer to as the voice of God. I think Terrence has a future as the voice of God in some. And some high-ranking public service of political arena. Let me tell you, first of all, I am the governor of the great state of West Virginia. My name is Joe Manchin. It's pronounced just like a big house, but it's spelled M-A-N-C-H-I-N. I'm also serving this, and by that meaning from the DGA, we have 11 races this year. We'll have 2 races next year, governor's races. 36 races in 2010. 2010, every 10 years we have a census. Every state's responsible in territory to take a complete census. With that, you start redistricting and realigning. One person, one vote to be represented. So that's why the alignment. We're always going to have 435 congressional representatives, no matter what the country grows to. Whether there's 100 million people living in America or 400 million, it's going to be divided. That's why every 10 years we have the adjustment. That's why 2010 is so important to all parties on both sides. Because whoever sits at the seat of the governors is usually where the buck stops, or buck has to go through there. Because the powers of the governors, or most of them, have the power to veto if they don't like the plan. That means their congressional plan on a national level, and that means also their legislative plans. Very, very important time. So everyone's really, really structuring. That's why 2010 project is so important to both the RGA and DGA. We have 28, as I said before. We'll be going to 29, at least we believe, and maybe even more. So we're positioning ourselves and working very hard. The only way I've talked about, all of you, how many raise your hand if you've been involved politically before? All of you have been politically active, pretty much so you wouldn't be here. Let me give you a bit of what I see, and what I see the challenges of your generation. You have too many opportunities. I've said this, in the next 4 to 5 years, there'll be more people speaking the English language in China than anywhere in the world. More people will speak your language and my language than anywhere in the world in a foreign country. Right now, every person with any education in India speaks our language. Now, how many of you are studying Chinese or Hindi? That's great, but not that many. And when I do that, it's pretty darn good. Then we're all conscious about it. That's where we have to go in this country. Because for the next 30 to 50 years, we're going to use fossil. It has to. There's no other way to escape that. But we can do it cleaner and greener. Let me tell you this. If we quit using coal today in America, there'll be more coal used around the world than ever before in history. More coal will be used than ever before in the history of the world. If we stopped in America today, because of the growing nations, the third world government, globally, think globally. They're going to use the product. Find out what the new solutions through research and technology that can use it cleaner until we really develop the new fuel of the future. This is what we're talking about. It's realistically, and it can be done. But you can't think idealistically when the infrastructure is not there to provide what you want to do. And no one's coming to the table, because it's easier for me to tell you, we're going to do everything with wind, and we're going to do everything in a green. We are. I'd love to do it. But on your best day, that's 25% of your needs. 25%. What happens to the other 75% when you go to flip the switch on, when you go to the refrigerator, when you go to work, when you go to flip your computer on? What takes care of the 724, 365 days, rain or shine? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that solution. You're going to find this. Your generation will find that. But in order to find it, you've got to use what you can to be competitive and do it better than it's ever been done before. That's all. Healthcare. Let me tell you, on earth, more than any, by far. You know what our rankings are as far as health and well-being of our citizens? 37th. If any of your parents or any of you all would perform and your performance was that bad, you'd either be fired or your company would be broke. With that poor performance. Now, why do you think it's not any better? Let me give you some food for thought, if you will. Come to your own conclusions. Think about health care. All of you have had to go to the doctor at one time in your life, right? Everybody in the room have used the health care, hospital, or your doctor's visits or something. Let's assume that everybody has. First of all, it's something you don't shop. We've never been taught to shop health care. You can't turn you away from the hospital if you go to the emergency room. The highest delivery, the highest cost of deliveries are our emergency rooms is our primary care. Sure that what we call a global bill or universal bill. Everything that you buy in your life, when you go buy something, you get a total bill, itemize what you owe, and boom, pay me this. Just about everything you do in your life. Whether it's a house, a car, down to any pencils and paper, you get a bill and you pay it. Healthcare is not done that way. We've let healthcare evolve to where, well, let me see, I'm going to go ahead and charge you for your visit. I can't charge you for your lab work, and the x-ray work will come later. It's like going and buying a suit. I'm going to charge you, pay me for the pants. Doesn't work that way. But healthcare does. We've got to break that. And next of all, your generation's got to force this economy, anywhere in the world, you get back to this country as quick as you can. We've got the best and brightest and the latest and greatest technology. Now, it's darn expensive, but we have it. But you better get back here if you want it fixed. Now, we're not going to do a darn thing to keep you well, because it doesn't pay as well if you're well. You'll pay me more if you're sick. And if you're really sick, you really pay me good, because you really need me bad. But I'm not going to give you anything on the front end. That's the mentality you're in. Your generation knew what yesterday was. You definitely know what today is. And you pretty much got a good idea what tomorrow's going to be. Why am I going to take a chance? Just because I told you that this would make your life better? I'm not so sure about that. You know why? We all have a comfort zone. Each one of you have your comfort zone. Whether you think you do or not, there's a comfort zone where you just won't go that little extra bit. You just don't want to make that person and that friend next to you upset with you because you think you're pushing a little bit too much. If this generation does not rise to be the greatest generation that America has ever nurtured, we're dead. Now, the weight of the world is on you, and I really literally mean that, and it's awful to put that pressure on you. When you have a young man in Barack Obama that was born and raised as he had with the challenges, where else do you think that he would have this opportunity? I've had people from around the world, they're coming to me and saying, you cannot believe what this has done for our image of America, seeing that to one of your major political parties that has an opportunity to be the next leader of the free world. That means that the dream is alive. It's still alive. That's the difference of our country and other countries. There's a succession that people have to go through to rise to that level, not in America. There's not one of you been told in your educational quest, well, I'm sorry, you've got to be this. I want to make sure you're a good mason. You're going to be a brick mason. Well, I want to be a doctor. I'm sorry, we need a brick mason. You're going to be a brick mason. Give you one other think about this. In China, how many watched building Olympic Village? I was seeing some of the most marvelous structures being erected that I've ever seen around the world. And I kept trying to figure out where in the world are they getting this workforce to do this? Now, I knew that they could hire the architects and engineers from around the world, the best. And it's one thing for someone to design something, but it's another thing for someone to have the skills to build it. I was marveling at the skill level that it took. Now let me tell you what else I noticed in China. After about 4 or 5 days I'm there, I didn't see a telephone booth. My gut is that 20-21%, and make sure I create the opportunities that should be there. That's what I've got to do. And every other governor, wherever you live, makes those decisions. The biggest thing, I'm going to help you. If you continue to have the problem, you call me back. That's the generation that I think is going to have to elevate itself to compete in the world market. You have all the basic skills to do it. You've had every opportunity in the world, more so than any other generation and any other youth today around the world. It's just whether you have the will to apply it.
Hi, I'm Sarah Iskra from Bellevue, Washington. On behalf of JSA and the Junior Statesman Foundation, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your schedule. This is a token of our gratitude.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Enjoy yourself. Okay? Get involved. Do something.
Mark Strom, I haven't seen you in a while since I was with the election. Good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you here. How's it
Give you
going?
my card. You know I ran for the state house in Texas, so I'm the next speaker. I got to follow.
Go do it. Get him fired up, buddy.
Good job.
Thank you all. Appreciate it, okay?
Have you ever looked at Kaiser's medical program?
Kaiser's?
Yeah.
I have. I think I do have a
You
copy.
should, because
They're doing the same
they
thing
have
we are?
done. They have done reviews on
Moving it towards the preventive side?
it does, the way it's run is better than NHS in England, and I'd say you should take a look at it. Kaiser Permanente.
Governor, would you mind signing this? Sure. For while you were talking.
Hold this. Oh my goodness.
Who graduated from Brown University and has worked on various campaigns such as
Makes you look like a man trying to beat somebody up, huh?
for governor of Texas.
Put a little smile. Put that curve up a little bit and put a little smile on it. Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
And he and thus helping over 700,000 Americans.
Thanks, Terrence. Stay involved, buddy. You got a great voice. Stay involved.
Thank you for coming on.
Uh-huh.
I think I went to sleep on it.
Just how many states are represented? 35?
35. Yeah.
That's great.
Can you get my information?
Sure. Yeah.
But we in Texas
Got it.
Where from?
We're down to
2,
California.
3.
Glad to have you. Okay, thank you all.
We've got July. Maybe about Washington.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, can you take a picture of us? Oh, yeah, go ahead. I didn't see you have one.
Does that explain it to you? Where's Miss Travis? Thank you.
Take a picture of us. Alright, just big button.
Got it.
Nice to meet you.
Make it up. Thank you. Sure. Take These are the ones in the box.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you. There's you.
Alright, over here. See?
There we go.
Keep it behind you. Right here. Yeah, just take it.
Where from?
Yeah, there.
All right,
From North Carolina.
Great, great. I just left Mike Beasley.
How about that?
West Palm Beach, Florida.
Oh, great. Thank you. Good to see you.
Governor, Commissioner Washington, D.C.
Good to see you. Thank you so much. Stay involved, okay? Thank you.
Governor, one more picture. Thank you.
Governor, can I see the value of a program like Junior Statesman?
Oh my goodness. Well, just, I mean, to have the opportunity to be able to hear and exchange ideas in different parts of the country, but also with different leaders, if you will, around the country, and speaking directly and frank, as I hope they are, and I know they are, but it should give you all an idea of how important it is for you all to be involved and to engage at a very young age. So when I had the opportunity to come speak, I thought it was an honor and an opportunity at the same time. So I want to thank you all for being involved. I hope what you're hearing, what you're learning, and what you're listening to, you'll take it and put into practice.
Great.
Okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No,
Oh. Sorry about that. 2, 3.
Chicago. Sure, absolutely.
I'm Haley. I'm from the Virginia.
Wonderful. I left your governor, John DeYoung.
Yeah.
I just left him.
Oh, wow.
And we're coming down November the 7th.
Oh, yay. 1, 2, 3.
I've got about 8 governors I'm bringing.
Wait, no, did it take?
No.
Hold it down for a second.
Why is John McCain?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're going to be about 8 governors down November the 7th. We're doing a financial policy there with Governor DeYoung heading it up for us.
Okay,
It'll be great.
Nice. I can't wait to see you.
Thank you.
I had a question for you.
At the DGA, your mayor has been invited. He does participate. He's been a great participant in that. And we've just started reaching out in our governor's organization because you all being a district.
Yeah.
And it gives you all the same opportunity. We need to know what's going on, how we can help, and how they can give help to us. So he's been becoming very much involved. Okay?
Just wondering that.
Yes, he is. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Andrew Romanoff.
One of the stories, and I'm sure you're involved as in your youth too, at least politically active.
Yeah, back in my youth, yeah. It's hard to remember that far back.
But yeah, great. So if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Sure, I'm Andrew Romanoff. I'm the Speaker of the Colorado House of Representatives. Welcome to Colorado. Do you live here?
Texas. But,
well, we accept you on a temporary basis.
Get here as soon as I can. So what does it mean to see youth involved the way they are in the Junior Statesmen of America?
Well, I think it's fantastic, and I think this election has seen more turnout among kids. Look at you, look at the camera.
You can look at the camera. Yeah.
So I think this election has seen more turnout among students, young people, than any election I can remember. We had a few volunteers on my campaign when I first ran back in 2000, but I think what Senator Obama has done to energize the youth of America is almost unprecedented. I wasn't alive in 1960 when Jack Kennedy was president, or elected president, but people have compared this experience to that one. And every campaign stop I make around the state, you see more young people getting involved, more turnout at caucuses, more people attending chicken dinners and other political events than any of the elections I've been working on in 15 years in Colorado politics.
Why do you give back as a statesman, as yourself elected? Why public service? Why do you give back?
Why do I do this gig?
Why do you do it?
When I was growing up, my mom was a social worker, and she worked with a lot of folks who didn't have the same advantages that my sister and I did. She trained mental health workers, folks who had brain diseases, drug or alcohol addiction, mental illness of some kind, and that was a pretty powerful imprint on me that I had some obligation to make the world better. There's a phrase in Hebrew called tikkun olam, which means to heal the world or repair the world. And that's a pretty important part of my motivation for going into politics. My grandpa was a physician and trotted around the world inoculating kids, hundreds of kids in Bolivia and other parts of South America and Southeast Asia and Africa who were also deprived of some of the advantages, just basic opportunities that my sister and I took for granted: education, healthcare, a safe place to live and grow up. So I got involved in politics because I thought every kid in my state ought to have those opportunities, and they don't. And they should.
What's been the most, what's an impact, a moment that made an impact on you, since you've been elected office, or even in college, just as far as that, that's why I do what I do?
That's a good question. I think, I have to think about that for a second. Yeah. So, I think for me it was living in Central America. After college I went down to Costa Rica and Nicaragua, spent a year teaching English and living with local families. And I think the difference between the conditions in those countries and our own is so staggering that it really jolts you out of your comfort zone. So when I came back to the States and you look around, we have problems in America, to be clear. I mean, there's still people going to bed hungry. There's 50 million folks without health insurance. There's kids who aren't able to fulfill their potential just because of the luck of the draw. But I thought the world is in pretty bad shape, and there are 1 billion people on the planet living on less than $1 a day, starving to death in some cases, or dying of preventable diseases. And that strikes me as unacceptable, immoral, unnecessary. So I thought maybe I can do something about that.
Last question involving Denver, who you are hosting, all the entire Democratic Party, and maybe in relation to a student group like Junior Statesmen of having people here in DC. I don't know if however you want to spin it all together, but Speaker of Colorado,
right,
have all these.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fabulous opportunity, obviously, for us to showcase our city, our state, our region, our party. We think Denver is the capital of the new West. We think the West should be the capital of the new Democratic Party. We haven't had a convention of this kind in Denver in 100 years. 1908 was the last Democratic National Convention when we nominated William Jennings Bryan for the presidency. We're hoping this year's election will have a different outcome. We intend to win. But every visitor I've met tells me that the experience has been good, and that was our goal, to make the place as hospitable as possible. I think the electricity in the convention hall is really palpable. I mean, the speeches the last couple nights really energized the crowd, and I hope the country. It's a little hard to tell when you're inside the Pepsi Center what the show looks like outside. But I thought Michelle Obama's words and Hillary Clinton's words, and one of our neighbors, Brian Schweitzer, governor of Montana, gave a great speech last night, as did Mark Warner, the governor of Virginia. So many folks have, I think, worked so hard to put this thing together. I'm glad it's coming up so far, knock on wood, successfully.
And so maybe this would be like a post-interview question, but you just talked to these students and they're bright, energetic, go-getting, you know.
Yes.
What's it like speaking to a group of students like the Junior Statesmen?
Well, I never turned down a student group. I remember the folks when I was a kid who took the time to talk to me, and not just when I was a kid. When I moved out here 15 years ago, I didn't know anybody, and I knocked on a lot of doors and tried to meet a lot of folks and get my way into different offices. And I remember the people who took the time to talk to me, and I remember the folks who didn't. So I thought, well, I ought to be the first kind of person. I mean, I enjoyed talking to young folks because I think the questions are often more thoughtful, more penetrating, and the discussion is more lively. And I think that that's no exception here. I mean, this is a group of students, obviously, who are awfully motivated. There are other ways to pass a summer or the end of a summer, besides, spending a week at a political convention or taking part in a program that focuses on government and politics. I think this is a dream come true for a political junkie, because the whole political world, at least the Democratic half of the world, has come to Denver. So I admire the students for taking an interest, and I've enjoyed the conversations I've had here.
Great interview.
From young people. Young people are the most radical variable in the political system. They're the most difficult variable to account for. When they do redistricting, for example, when they do redistricting, they don't know how to count young people. They don't know how to make sure that the district is exactly as many Republicans as Democrats as they want it to be, because the young people don't have any voting history in the district. So when you get new voters in the district registered to vote, all of a sudden everything changes. And those numbers that they tried to use to predetermine the outcome of the election aren't the right numbers anymore. It's a game-changing thing. Similarly, the Obama campaign illustrates that young people know what you're up against. You can overcome those distorting influences in the democratic process. So let me close by telling you a story of my first campaign. When I ran, I told you I ran in a Republican district against a Republican incumbent as a Democrat. And as you heard from Claire, I had gotten started in politics 17 years earlier, 14 years earlier at the time, as a staff member on Ann Richards' campaign in 1990, when she ran her first race for governor. And so when I got into my first race in 2004, 14 years later, everybody told me, well, the first thing you got to do is call Ann Richards and ask her for her support. Well, I'll be honest with you, I was 22 years old when I worked for Ann Richards. I didn't know anything about politics at the time, and I was, quite frankly, totally terrified of Ann Richards. She scared the devil out of me. And 14 years later, at the age of 37, I found that I was as terrified of Ann that it had to be illegal. So he filed a petition that said that the sheer number, this is a direct quote from his legal filing, the sheer number of new voters, we had registered 8,000 new voters in the district between 2002 when he was elected and 2004 when I was elected. Remember, I talked about how you can change the dynamics of a district with the new voters in the district. The sheer number of new voters, according to his position, was so statistically implausible as to constitute a violation of the Texas election code, and was part of, this is a direct quote, part of a pattern of behavior to alter the outcome of the election. To which I said, guilty. That's what. But there's nothing illegal about getting new voters to vote. In any election, almost in any presidential election, somewhere around 50% of eligible voters do not participate. If you want to overcome the influence of redistricting and gerrymandering and money,
on behalf of JSA, and especially Texas JSA, I would like to thank you for speaking to us.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having
So, we were actually wondering, would you be able to meet her?
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
All right, yeah, so just
thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get a picture? My
You sure
sister
can?
and brother-in-law went to Browns.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, get somebody to take
Okay,
pictures.
great.
Go
Bears.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go to Brown?
I hope so.
By the way, what do you think is a good, I'll take a picture. It's a good alternative to gerrymandering. Like, what should
I've proposed legislation to have an independent commission. Colorado, Iowa has one, and it works. There's no perfect system. The question isn't, is it perfect? Everybody tries to tear down all the various ideas because it's not perfect. Man, nothing is perfect in life. The question is, how does it compare to the status quo? And I haven't seen an independent commission that isn't better than having politicians do it. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay, who's from Texas? Yeah. Good.
I work with JSA and Snowboard, but here are two of our students, and so I want you to meet.
Good. We were going to try to get a picture with all the Texans. Somebody.
Yeah.
Do
we have four out here?
So y'all are San Antonio, or y'all are the Valley?
We're the Valley.
All right. You know what? I should have brought Eddie Lucio with me.
Oh, we met him.
Eddie the Third? Yeah. He's great, isn't he? I love that guy.
He actually helped us with the fundraising to actually come here.
But this just pressing on this.
That's awesome.
Do we want to take one
Can we get a
email?
picture?
Now, what school do y'all go to?
You're not Texas. We help.
Okay, who else from Texas? Let's get a picture.
Yes.
I'm talking Texas.
Okay, well you got to. What do you want in the background?
That's somebody's.
San Antonio.
Brownsville, San Antonio. Where are you from? All right. Good Lord, you're like the paparazzi.
Hey, with the camera phone, you may want to turn on its.
Are you from Texas?
Hey, if you take it, there's a camera.
What? You got it? Can't we just pass around the good ones that came out? Yeah, there we go. All right.
Where in Argentina did you live?
Buenos Aires.
Oh, okay. My family, my father's side is actually from San Miguel,
Yeah?
which is just a couple hours north.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So, Arizona. How do you feel about John McCain in Arizona? What change?
Yeah.
People are saying that we might actually compete in Arizona.
I think so, because I think about 34% of the population there is from Arizona, so we have people from all over.
Right. That's happening more and more in Texas too. We get a lot of people from so Texas is pretty well represented. What's with all the Californians?
Oh, thanks, man.
Oh man.
Hey, what'd you get?
This morning.
Yeah. You're plus some from LA. Now, where are you from? Oh, you're from California. You're from LA. Okay, got it.
Can I take a picture with you?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Get mine.
Dude, it's like he's okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
You need a flash? All right, yeah.
When did I mention?
Who's gonna take it?
I got it.
There we go.
All right.
You want a picture?
Sure. I'm able to get out of bed for the breakfast. I know, it's embarrassing.
Do you need a phone call?
Can you hear my voice? I mean, I can really talk. I guess that's right. And they probably won't need it.
Plus, when you get cops all suited up and ready to go, it's hard to get them back down.
You heard the question. California's experiencing, I know because I talked to Speaker Bass's staff, a hard time. Is she back? Are they done? Are you guys still balancing your budget?
We are like 2 to 3 months overdue, and we're not really that close.
So the question is, how do you get folks to get together and get something done? So in Colorado, I think it's a little easier in Colorado with respect to that particular question, because we have a constitutional requirement to balance the budget. In fact, that's pretty much our only job. And two, we do other stuff. And two, we're also constitutionally limited to 120 days in session. So if we don't get that done, I don't actually know what would happen. The governor could call a special session, I guess. I'm proud that on our watch, 4 years we've been running the House of Representatives, we've gotten our job done ahead of schedule, under budget, and adjourned early for the first time in the history of the 120-day session. And I guess part of just with respect to the budget, most of it's on autopilot. I mean, so much of it's driven by federal mandates or constitutional requirements. There's not a lot of discretion in the budget process anyway. So that helps us get the job done quicker. Yeah.
Daniel Mello, New York City.
I was wondering, how was it very difficult making the process from working on campaigns to actually running yourself?
Yeah. Yes. I'll try to keep my answer short. Like Joe Biden. Yeah, it is it's a little weird, I think, to go promote yourself as opposed to somebody else. And it is a little hard to make that leap. And you actually have to believe that you're the best candidate. At least it helps. Or fake it. Yeah. Yeah. Hi.
Comment on term limits?
Yeah. I think we already have them. They're called elections. And I don't know. Yeah, I'm a little biased on this thing because term limits in Colorado constrain us to 8 years in the House, 8 years in the Senate, consecutively. It's not a lifetime limit. You could switch back and forth if you wanted, but at some point I think you should take a hint and get another job. So I pretended I was a big fan back in 2000 because they knocked my predecessor out of the way. And now as I approach the twilight of my legislative career, I'm beginning to rethink my position. No, I think they're silly, and I think if more voters voted, you could limit everybody's term.
So just go ahead and sit right back down.
Excellent. I got two. Thanks. Box. I have a new box.
Did you want the box?
No, I'm okay.
Hold on, James. James.
I just want to thank you. That was awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Sure thing.
Bye, Mr.
See you. See you. I almost missed my mug.
Can I get a picture?
Hey, sure.
Right here.
Where are you from?
Go from.
Hold on. What's gonna happen in North Carolina?
Is there any way that I can...
Related to what?
It's presidential election.
Well, they've voted Republican for a while, so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he'll campaign a little bit more down there, and the young people will come out and vote, and that'll certainly help Obama.
That's my first one. What's going on? Sure. One. Opposing pictures.
And I think we got one more here.
That's right. How's it going? Great. First time voter judgment.
1, 2, 3. I think you put this on video.
Don't anybody steal my money.
1, 2.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
That's right.
I mean, just
What, yeah, so you need to call somebody, you're trying to call somebody.
Because I have had fairly long conversations with both congressmen.
Somebody here.
Hey, what just happened?
Nothing really. I was trying to I've been trying to contact a congressman I know, and the representative was able to give me a number of a staffer, which was really great.
Water policy, obviously, we're doing pretty well this year. Forest fire, bark beetle stuff, a lot. And it comes up a lot in the healthcare debates because people recognize. Oh, that's a good question. Different set of issues. So most folks who come to us for constituent help need access to some state benefit or service as opposed to a local or federal. Or they've had some issue, a problem because of a state agency or part of the state government. So we're really focused on the state of Colorado government issues as opposed to city or county or federal issues.
What if they come to you with local issues?
Yeah, that happens a lot. And so we really try to make sure, I tell my staff, we can't just say it's not our problem. We want to make sure they get the help they need and put them in touch with the local council person if that's the case, or the congressperson, and try to do some follow-up to make sure they actually get it.
So when your position, just a little bit, why did you run for position, and also do you cover the whole state as a delegate? I mean, as basically, since you are the speaker.
Right.
Is that how whole state?
Right. So I ran for office because I wanted to make it possible for more kids to have a good education, a source of health care, a safe place to live and grow up. I do represent a district, about 70,000 people in East Denver and Glendale. So there's 65 representatives. Each has a different district with the same number of people, and I'm one of them. But I do feel like I have some responsibility to the state as a whole. I think all of us do.
And why Colorado?
Well, I grew up in Ohio. I went to school back east. My folks split up. My mom moved to California. My dad stayed in Ohio. I thought maybe Colorado would be halfway in between. It seemed like I used to tell people it was a court order. But I also thought it's really a friendly place. It's a beautiful place. There's a lot of folks from the Midwest like me, and so it just felt like home when I moved out here about 15 years ago, and I made some friends and got a dog and decided to stay.
Okay, and currently you are hosting the Democratic National Convention, which is happening right now. So we're going to let you go. We'd like to thank you.
You're welcome.
And just real quick for your constituents, if they need to get in contact with you, how would they go about
Oh,
it?
thanks, man. So I've got a website at andrewromanoff.com. It's ROMANOFF, and people can log on and send me emails or call me through that site.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. You too. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Okay, they didn't need all that. They didn't really need it. They didn't need that. Yeah, they just showing off now. They don't need all that. They're right.
Ask people to join them, and if we were all together, I'd say let's join them, but we have to find out.
I love it. It's for Homeland Security Park. On the armored tank.
That both parties are involved with it, not just one. Well, I wish my daddy would have been here so we could have.
Debt purchased by with Homeland Security Fund.
What if you could walk down and just pan all those guys as you walk by?
Line leader. Let's go.
All right. We're here at the 2008 Democratic Convention. We just managed to get some credentials. So we're about to go in right now to see former President Clinton speak and then Senator John Kerry.
I'm following y'all. Where we go?
Yesterday I got a chance to go on YouTube and say why I endorsed Senator Obama.
No, you don't have to talk.
You could just go down there.
Not to make people get a chance to that's us all together.
And I'm grateful for the chance Chelsea and I have to go all over America to tell people about the person we know and love. Now, I am not so grateful for the chance to speak in the way that Hillary's magnificent speech last night. But I'll do the best I can. Last night, Hillary told us in no uncertain terms that she is going to do everything she can to elect Barack Obama. That makes two of us.
I got it. I really appreciate you.
It's
Thank
okay.
you.
Have a good day.
You got here early.
Damn. We
You
should
can?
switch passes.
You can?
Delegation. DC. So you know, you should give me. You should give me. Well, come to my office over there.
Wait,
Well,
so-
what we're gonna do? We're gonna watch it on a monitor.
Where did
Try to go upstairs.
Where did Annie go?
Huh?
Where did Annie
We
go?
find a monitor so we can watch it on the monitor.
Do you guys want to try to go upstairs?
We can try to go upstairs.
It-
Find
it- Governor Patterson, New York. He gave me my family friend's number right now. Do you remember it?
I thought our shopper walked past me. I didn't say hi.
Do you know him? Jesse Jackson. What's up?
I would talk to you.
Maybe if we're
I would say hi to him, but I never.
I'll never forget you right.
You see people's real. You see
That's what I'm saying. If we are, do you think that'll make people
We're down to you. We went to our senator, and our senator was gonna get us pass down.
I
He
could-
gave it to his staff.
Do you think I should call that guy I know who's friends with Governor Patterson?
You should. Maybe he might have a box.
There's a lot of sweets. But how can you?
No, that's the wussy way to do it. I know. Come on, do it.
Yo,
Do
just
it.
call him up.
Text him and call him at the same time.
No, Matt, actually call him. He's a nice guy, he's just strict.
You want me to talk to him?
Oh my god, Canal Wise on the radio.